Hello, this is Into Wilderness doing a review on the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, specifically a review on how does this particular knife wear over time, and specifically the black finish on the blade, although I'll touch on a couple other things, but the black finish on the blade. I've had this knife for 6 months and have basically used it every single day in an EDC type format. And what I mean is that I'm not out doing any major field test on this, nothing too dramatic, just normal everyday cutting task. So, feedback on this. I have, with the black finish, Spyderco calls this diamond-like carbon, and I Googled, after I taught with Spyderco, Googled diamond-like carbon and found this website called diamondcoating.net. I'm just going to read you a few sentences on what diamond-like carbon, or DLC for short, is like. It's DLC is an acronym for diamond-like carbon. As the name implies, diamond-like carbon has some of the valuable properties of diamond. It can be applied as a coating on almost any material that is compatible with the vacuum in which it's usually produced. When applied in pure form, it's as hard as natural diamond or even harder. In pure form, these diamond coatings offer extraordinary protection against abrasive wear and attack from atmospheric moisture and chemical vapors. So basically it is a unique form of coating a blade that will protect it from abrasive wear, from chemicals in the atmosphere, and primarily what they're saying is that it just stops the reflection of the sun. Okay? So, and it goes on to say that diamond coating website says during the application process, what you'll notice is that it's not a, now they don't put it like this, but it's not a matte finish. It has, you can see, maybe you can see on this camera, but it has a pebble-like look to it, to where there's a lot of little dots. You may be able to pick it up, may not, but has a lot of pebble dots over the finish, whereas, like, for instance, the Saw Aegis and Benchmade, it's more of a matte finish. I don't know if I'm making sense there, but it's just kind of like one coating on it, on the other blades. And I've had 3 other black finishes. I'll throw up some pictures on how those wore. I've had the Benchmade Griptilian, Mini Griptilian, and a Saw Aegis. And that, not really on the Benchmade Griptilian because I didn't keep it that long, but on the Mini Griptilian with the Tanto tip and also the Aegis, there was a good amount of wear on that. And I almost didn't buy this Para 2 just because I didn't want the same type of wear, but I ended up doing it anyways, and I'm glad I did because it has worn over time. And what you'll see in those pictures, specifically where the edge meets the finish, what you'll see are a lot of wear marks where you're doing your cutting task, where the coating starts to wear off. But what you'll see on this, after 6 months of just everyday use, there's absolutely zero wear on this black finish. The other side. So I'll say that it absolutely wears well. Now this is just 6 months, but I would say that's a pretty good test. The only finish that I can see, and it's not really coming off, but the only discoloration that I see on this blade would be in this area right here, and that's just from me opening and closing the knife a lot. It's just and I think it's just from contact from my skin. It's just a slightly different color, but again, the coating is not coming off there. You can see it on this side too. Okay, so that's the blade. Now, as far as this S30V steel goes, it has really, over 6 months, I have only sharpened this one time. And the reason why I sharpened it then, you may be able to see this, yeah, right here. There's a slight microchip. And the reason for the microchip, I've got a couple kids that do, they get these toys at Christmas and their birthday that are tied together in the boxes with these ties. And I think as I was cutting one of the ties, I may have cut into one that had that maybe it was a metal tie, and I think that's what created this little microchip. So the only reason why I sharpened it was to try to get that out, and I didn't spend a whole lot of time sharpening it, so there's still a little bit of a chip in there, but it's still very sharp. So the S30V sharpens easy with the Spyderco, a lot easier than say the Chris Reeve S30V or Strider. So it's easier to sharpen, but it definitely holds an edge for a while. The G10 has held up well. The only mark on the G10 would be right here, and that's just from me banging it up against something, not too big of a deal. The back spacers are in decent shape, except for this one right here. You can see it right there, some discoloration. I don't think that that's rust. I haven't taken it apart to try to clean it, but it doesn't bother me too much. You can see the liners down in there that have been hollowed out. Good stuff there. The clip on this has worn pretty well for it being in my pocket every day. You can see around the edges, showing some signs of wear, but not on the main surface. Alright, let's see. What else? The only other thing that I would say about this knife, I like everything about it. In fact, this is the only knife I have purchased 2 times. I don't tend to keep knives unless I think I'm gonna miss them. So I did sort of miss this one. That's the reason why I bought it again. The only thing that I don't really care for is this compression lock system. It's not my favorite. My favorite would be the titanium frame lock. But other than that, it's been a wonderful EDC knife. I really enjoyed it. So let me know if you have any questions. I do appreciate you guys listening in. Have a good one.